Welcome back to the Makers of MidCity podcast. I'm your host, Clark Dunn.
And I'm Adam Dean. I am the production manager and talent buyer for MidCity and The Camp.
Awesome. And today we have the opportunity to actually have an artist on the podcast. I think one of the first artists, Translee, a artist originally from Huntsville, now based out of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'm excited to kind of talk a little bit about your story and kind of the ways in which you're involved with MidCity and kind of helping them curate and create the spaces that we see today.
Yes.
But to kind of give people a little bit of an idea of who you are, talk a little bit about your background and kind of your journey into the music scene.
Oh, man. So, like I said, my name is Translee from Huntsville. Well, moved here when I was 3. Okay. And went to elementary school here, middle school in the Monrovia area, Sparkman High School, and just like a pillar in the city. And my first year of college was at Alabama A&M. So just somebody that's been here pretty much my upbringing was fully here, and to see where the city was then to where it's at now is just amazing to see. Because the only constant is change. And so just seeing the city change and become this beautiful city of people that aren't always from here.
Yeah.
But it's making a great melting pot. So I'm happy to be able to come back. Like, I don't live here, but I come back to the city often and try to shine light on it because it's just an amazing place. So
yeah. And so talk about kind of when you first got into, is music something you've always been interested in, had a passion for, or did it kind of come later in life and then the success came quickly, or is it something that you've been kind of growing and nurturing over a longer period of time?
So I've always loved music. That's always been one of my main things. But whenever my mom passed when I was 16 years old, that kind of threw me into the studio. And it was just the way that I coped. It was my coping mechanism. So that's kind of how I found my love for creating music. And once I got to college, like I said, my first year was at A&M. Then I finished at UNA, which is about an hour from here, Florence. And I met my manager there, and that's kind of when music became. I was introduced to the music business side instead of just making music as a coping mechanism. It turned into, okay, now I actually got good at it, and now we can make this a real thing. So that's kind of how it evolved.
Yeah. And what did give the listener an overview of what the landscape of the music scene here in Huntsville was at the time that you kind of first got involved? While you were at A&M and then kind of that, or like out of high school, kind of into that college years, like what was the landscape looking like here in Huntsville for musicians and artists that are just kind of up and coming?
Well, from my viewpoint, there were several like rap groups. I wasn't really tapped in growing up with the any too many other genres of music, but the like rap groups like Slow Motion Sounds and Lapone. And y'all know Cody G. He was a big part of a lot of groups coming up out of the city. So people like that were kind of at the forefront of Huntsville hip hop, but it was hard for those artists to get out to be seen outside of the city. So I think if we would have had the internet back then, a lot of those guys' careers would have took off even further than they did because the talent was there, but it was labels and things weren't coming to Huntsville to find people. It's just, you had to go to Atlanta, go to New York, go to LA and try to get on. And it was a different time. So, the local stars were local stars, but it was just hard for them to get out because, but now it's like, you can be as local as you want to be and come up with
plenty of venues to play.
There's venues to play, and social media is just the most powerful thing. So you can make a song in your basement, and it could be the biggest song in a year because social media can take it there. So, or just the internet. So we're just in a different time, but I think it made it special back then because the hometown could really see their stars. Like, like it was like, these are the guys that are doing it. These are the women that are doing it. Because we don't have social media clouding our judgment with everything. Yeah. So, but now, I think it's in a lot better space. So
for sure. Yeah. And so kind of before we kind of dive into this, with Adam kind of talking about your involvement and kind of y'all working with Translee for the music scene here in Huntsville
Mm.
or here at MidCity. When I think a tipping point probably in your career was being signed by the TI's label.
Definitely.
Talk a little bit about the what that experience was like and kind of what how that has kind of paved the way for what you've done so far in your career after that.
Yeah, it was amazing because as artists, we don't want to like lean on validation and clout, but you need it a little bit. You need a little bit of clout in certain things, especially being an artist. So him coming in and kind of giving me that validation helped a lot. And here, people here are big fans of Ti, so it helped me a lot here. It 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 did a lot for me. It helped my booking rates. You know what I mean? It's like I could charge more. It's crazy. So and it was just it's somebody that I always looked at the greats, like one of my favorite artists, like Kanye, even though he's gone kind of crazy now, but um a lot of my favorite artists, they were brought in by a legend. So if you look at Kanye, Jay-Z brought him in. If you look at people like even like Big Sean, Kanye brought him in. Drake, Lil Wayne brought him in. So I always thought like, man, who would be the person bringing me in? And so when I met T.I., I was like, this is perfect. T.I. can introduce me to the world and kind of help. Or if you look at Eminem, Dr. Dre brought him in.
Mm.
So it's just a lot of the legends were kind of ushered in by someone. So it was a special moment for me to kind of be ushered in by one of the legends in hip hop.
Yeah.
And then to come back home and to be able to bring that energy home was always special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Adam, talk a little bit about. I mean, the music scene here at MidCity is a huge part of the ecosystem here. We've had you on the podcast talking specifically about kind of your role in curating artists here. Talk a little bit about maybe that for those that maybe haven't seen that episode. The importance that RCP and MidCity has in curating local talent here at the camp and other sort of avenues.
Yeah, I think it's something the whole city has latched onto a little bit is how art and music is kind of a economic driver, like how the value of it, not just beyond the entertainment, but how valuable it can be for a city. And that's a really big part of why it's so important for MidCity and what we're trying to do here is to make sure that the community and art and culture, including hospitality and food, is what it needs to be. So yeah, it's hugely important. We put a huge focus on it. So we're trying to support artists in the area and give them opportunities to play and hopefully opportunities to stick around and make Huntsville a more supportive place for an artist. You can only once you get so big, then you got to probably hop to Atlanta, to LA, New York, whatever, once you get big enough. But try to make it to a place where people can stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah. And it's always cool as to see these bands and even artists like yourself come through that, you played here, you're from here, you played at these places early in your career, you've gotten big, and now you come back and you still like you give back to the city that kind of got you to where you are. And I think that's a really cool thing, and that you've been able to see at the camp too, of artists or bands that have maybe graced the stage at the camp that maybe have been now headlining their own show or opening act for a huge band or whatever it might be. I know with the kind of the conversations and the intent to move the camp down to on like right beside where we actually are recording this, Translee, you had actually a seat at the table kind of talking with Adam and the team at RCP and MidCity about what that space is going to look like. Talk a little bit about kind of the importance that you saw in having them reach out to you and kind of being a part of this and the feedback that Adam, you got from an artist yourself, an artist specifically on what they would like to see.
Yeah. Man, so shout out to the camp, man, because they have given me, you guys have given me red carpet rollouts every time. I've come around, every time I performed. It's always been a lit affair, man. I truly appreciate that. And we need that. We need a place as artists that we can be proud of to perform. It's always an experience. Every time I come, y'all have added something that makes the ambiance. Now, if the rain's bad, it doesn't matter. It can still withstand. So it's one of those venues that's becoming classic to me, and one of my favorite places to perform. So I know the Camp 2.0, just being in the meetings and seeing the excitement about, it's different energy when you're around the people that have the ability to make something happen and they're excited about the culture and the arts. That's something that's, I think, what's most amazing about this place, because they don't get bogged down by business things, which that always has to be there, but there has to be a level of like childlike excitement of, this is going to be a great thing for people, and a great experience for people, because this is a city that's growing. People need things to do. That's a major part. We'll lose everyone, so I'm excited for Camp 2.0, and hopefully I can be one of the first performers there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Adam, talk a little bit about the importance for your team in RCP and MidCity to have that feedback from artists like Translee and other artists when you're creating this new space and kind of curating an atmosphere that attracts artists, but also kind of gives them that excitement, that childlike experience that is what most people really want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a team effort when it comes to designing things like that. But you can't sleep on the artist's opinion or input. You gotta, it's super valuable just because they are the ones on the stage performing, and their experience coming through the venue and out of the venue is a big deal. And especially artists like yourself that have performed quite a lot and performed lots of places, it's just valuable. And you have lots of sampling, and have been lots of places. So that's a lot of valuable input. So
because something, I mean, cut you off, but something as simple as the camp, like how I always sit in that room right behind the stage, that area, that what I don't know if it's like the place with the trailer, the trailer. I love that, because me as an artist, one thing that I have to have before I perform is a space of peace and quiet where I don't have to see the crowd, walk through the crowd to get to the stage. I just want to pop out when on my performance, and so having that space back there, like the last 15-20 minutes before I perform, to just be alone, you know what I mean, kind of get zen out, then be able to come right through that door and be right on stage, is that's one of my favorite things about the camp, because I performed at venues in the country, out the country, all over the country, and some are great, some are, some you have to like literally walk through people just to get, and like certain things like that as an artist are important, so I could go all day. But
there's so many details. That's just one, but there's so many. So you want to take that feedback and carry it forward with the design. And that's, I think, why it's so valuable.
And so, I mean, as we're recording this early June 10th, you actually have a new album coming out soon.
Yes.
This album was it's a cool homage to Huntsville.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the album itself, and the kind of the mindset behind it.
So first of all, I want to shout out to my homie PR from Phantom Airwaves. He's done big events at the camp before. And me and him, man, we've worked. I met him through Dynamite Kid years ago, but me and him over the last few years, we just started working on records. Every time I would come home, which would be often, I'll hit him up, and no matter what time it was, like PR, if he's like 11 o'clock at night, he's like, man, pull up, man, we'll do something. We'll work till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And we just we're cooking up records, man. And after a while, after you have 4 or 5, 6, 7 nice records, you're like, we're kind of sitting on something. We can kind of, so over the past year or so, we've kind of got more targeted on like, let's kind of fine tune these records and get the features on them. Then I'm like, yo, let's do this. Let's make this a Huntsville album. So instead of me reaching out to features all over, I started reaching out to the people that I thought here were extremely talented. Artists like Super King Big Pope, who, crazy enough, he has one of the biggest songs on TikTok right now. It's crazy. Like, he literally surpassed Bad Bunny on TikTok Billboard charts. Here, like, it was like a couple of months ago. So I have him on the album. CP, he's a legend. Remember I told y'all Lapone earlier, he's one of the top rap groups from the city when I was coming up. I have CP, Gypsy Soul, Lucas Breeze, NFHTC. I hope I don't forget anybody. Jalen Kelly, and if I'm forgetting anybody, please forgive me. Soulflower, she's singing on she's doing some oohs and ahs on the intro. So everyone is of the 256 of the Huntsville area, and for me, because my fan base is all over the world, to be honest. And I want them to get this album as a Translee album. But when they dig deeper, I want them to realize, oh, this was done all in this one place. And whatever light I could shine on Huntsville, that's the light I wanted to shine. Whatever my platform is, if I can give that to the city, I want it to be that, because only growth can come from that. Like, in things that y'all are doing, I think there's a lot of intersectionality, if that's a word, is the intersection there from what I'm doing and what y'all are doing. So, I'm excited to be, family with MidCity too, to be able to come up with things and put on big ish for the city, man.
It's super cool. I think you're definitely one of the artists that reps Huntsville really well. There's lots of, a lot of smaller artists obviously haven't gotten out of Huntsville yet, but it's really awesome to like see that, especially with what we're trying to do here at MidCity. So
I think artists like yourself are kind of like laying the framework and showcasing to people that are maybe, in high school themselves or college themselves, like you can do this here.
Yes.
And then there is a network, there is an ecosystem, a community that is wanting to see you succeed. When does so if anyone's listening, watching, whoever's, and they wanted to listen to the album, when is the album out for everybody? And what is the name of the album?
So the album is called Forever in Our Hearts, and it is just speaking to Huntsville, because this is a place that, I'm one of the people that felt like I had to move away to find success. Always repping the city, always keeping it forever in my heart. But I was one of those people. If I was coming up now, I probably wouldn't feel that way, But whenever I left, it was a while ago. So it was when the opportunities weren't here. So Forever in Our Hearts is just an ode to the city, saying wherever I've been, everywhere I go, people like they appreciate my energy, and I can only attest it to the fact that I was from Huntsville. This place is just, it's hard for me to explain it, how it's taught me how to act. But so that's why I named the album Forever in Our Hearts, and yeah, and so it'll be available Friday. Sorry, I'm rambling, but it'll be available Friday on June 13th on a site called even.biz, even.biz. And it's a site where you can treat it just like Spotify, Apple Music. It's an app that you can download, and you can go in there, and to get my album, you can pay whatever you want. And it's a way for us as artists to receive our value as artists from our biggest fans or biggest listeners. Because once it goes to streaming, everyone knows we don't really make much money from streaming. We have to sell merch. We have to do shows. We have to get 9 to 5s. We have to do everything now to supplement the money, because that's just not there in streaming. So even.biz is a great platform that allows us artists to be able to go on there and sell our album for, it's a pay what you want type of thing. So it's no, like, not too heavy of a financial pressure on your fans. Like, just pay something and get the album, and you can stream it right off the Even site. It's a dope site. A lot of people are on it. And then so it's coming out June 13th on the Even app. And then if you wanna wait until it comes out on all streaming platforms, it'll come out on all streaming platforms July 15th. So we're gonna leave it on Even for a month. Let the real supporters and listeners, and let Huntsville support it how they want to. And then on July 15th, y'all may have to bring me back on the podcast when it's coming out on streaming sites. So that's the actual official release, is July 15th, but June 13th is the release on even.biz. So.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes, links to everything. So if anyone wants to listen and find out anything else more about you, the links will be there. One thing I did want to talk about before we end the conversation today is the inner peace, outer glow. Talk a little bit about what that kind of the thought process behind getting that started. And I know you've done some even events as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So shout out to my ex. She made me sit down in 2021 and do I don't know if you remember Chelsea. She used to come around. She made me sit down and do a vision board back in 2021. This is right after the pandemic. So, we were all just kind of going through we're going through. And she made me sit down and write it down. I thought of the concept, took a picture of it, got it digitized. And one of my friends already had a clothing brand, helped me put it on some shirts. And, man, we just started rolling with it. And it kind of took off a way that was unexpected. And for me, it's special because I'm able to push I guess mantra, if you will, inner peace, outer glow. And I feel like when people see it, a lot of times people will stop me wherever I'm at and say, I like that. That phrase speaks to me. And that's what I like the most about it, because it's been an avenue to, let's be real, it's been an avenue to help me supplement income, but it's also been an avenue to help me push a positive message at the same time. So it works. So shout out to Inner Peace Outer Glow. InnerPeaceOuterGlow.com is the site. I'm sorry, it's so long. I tried to get the short version. Somebody already got it. So yeah, InnerPeaceOuterGlow.com. Shop there, and we appreciate the support.
Yeah. And so, I mean, as we kind of wrap up the conversation, as a Huntsville native, you've seen MidCity grow. You've seen Huntsville as a whole grow. What are you most excited for, kind of looking at MidCity in particular in the next few years? Like, what from an artist perspective?
Camp 2.0. Come on, man. I'm ready to see the new spot, because I know how y'all do it. I know how y'all do things, and it's always, nice, and there's always nice rollouts. And so, I'm excited. Hopefully I'm part of the lineup. I'm gonna make sure I'm part of it. I'm gonna start coming to the planning meetings and just inserting my name in it.
You're welcome, of course.
But yeah. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about just MidCity as a whole, because it's crazy. This parking lot means so much to me, because this is the mall that I grew up going to. It was the mall. It was the Madison Square Mall. It was the mall that we went to. A lot of us had our first kiss, first fist fight, first everything. What happened at this mall, probably. You never know. So to see it go, which, like I said, the only constant is change. You got to expect, malls are going to go away. So to see this new flourishing environment over here is amazing. And to be a part of it and to have a seat at the table is even cooler. So, I'm just trying to make sure I'm the best representation I can be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being here today. It's incredible just to see your growth here at Huntsville as an artist. And I think the people that are listening that are wanting to get into the scene themselves, I think you're a great representation of on the success that you've had. And I think that Huntsville and MidCity kind of helps cultivate this talent that the city does have. We'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes, links to everything, links to even stuff about maybe even booking at the camp. And so, but yeah, I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. No, this is cool.